When do you feel the closest to the beloved presence of God? And these, you sit with these questions. They're not immediately answerable, and they take reflection. They take listening, prayer, and meditation. When do you feel the closest to the beloved presence? That's the first one. Ask yourself, is your daily living joyful and consciously glorifying the highest? Are your choices increasing radiance? Something you say to a person, an action that you perform, an interaction, a visit with somebody. When you leave that, is there greater radiance in the atmosphere? Have you been a blessing in the situation? That's another question your soul asks you. Where and how can you creatively make life more beautiful around you? That's another very good question. How can you better respond in Christ's Spirit to current circumstances? How is the Lord Christ inspiring you? One of the problems that separates us from our soul is seeing an enemy rather than trying to befriend a person who would be an enemy in your life. What can you do to transform the animosity or the difficulty, the anger, into a better relationship? Hopefully even, sometimes it takes a lot longer, a friendship. I had a friend this year who got a really good job, and her job was to sort of like an Amazon.com center, one of those stores, and she had to get all these products lined up and in their place so they go out for delivery so the customers would be satisfied. And she found a very forceful person that her orders were followed, and she had no power to fire anybody, but she knew the right people up on top, so if they didn't do what she asked, she'd report them and so on. Anyway, there was one woman who defied her all the time, ran her down, made fun of her, and this really didn't set well with the person who was giving the orders. And then one day she came in and she was sick and still showed up for work. And this woman who had previously really attacked her and obviously an animosity toward her, as the woman herself had an animosity toward the critic. And suddenly she reached down to get a big box, and at that moment she was rather ill and couldn't lift it. And then, miraculously, this enemy that she felt this critic was, who never did anything to help her, always thwarted her efforts, reached down and picked up the box, put it in her arms and said, "Here." No fancy wanted to help you or any of that, but here. So, and this woman was unbelievably, she just stood there. She said, "I couldn't move." She, who had attacked me and what I was trying to do for the company, now put the box in my arm here and looked at me and walked away. And that was a turning point this Christmas time for this woman, that she now doesn't see this other critic as an enemy, but sees her as a human being, a person who gave a gift. It was a very sudden, unexpected gift, but the gift was given, and this changed the woman in charge, made her much more compassionate and empathetic, and her illness disappeared within a day or two. So a lot of grief, a lot of hatreds were released through that one loving act of putting a box in a person's arms.